Hey, I'm Rosie. I'm a Brisbane birdwatcher, and this morning I'm at Tinchi Tamba Wetlands. This is the beautiful Pine River, which Tinchi Tamba Wetlands sits on. I arrived at about 6 a.m. this morning. It's almost April, so that was just about sunrise, and the birds were very active. Here are some welcome swallows scooping up water and food from the river. And a very calm Australian pelican. Unfortunately, the tide is high today, so that's going to limit the number of shorebirds we can see, but I have just seen a Brahminy kite. I actually saw 3 Brahminy kites today. This one, another one sitting a bit lower in the trees, and another just above that. There were also about 6 masked lapwings hanging around by the boat ramp. If you continue past the boat ramp, the boardwalk starts. Let's see if we can find any birds here before we head towards the bird hut. Here's a willy wagtail. And the very hard to capture mangrove girigany. They're very small birds and they tend to move quickly. I've never seen so many fantails as I did at Tinchi Tamba today. This is an Australian rufous fantail showing off that fantail. There's 2 ways you can go from the main car park. We're going to turn right and go to the bird hide first, and then we'll come back and have a look at the boardwalk. The area around this info panel is a hive of activity today. There are fairy wrens and brown honey eaters and fantails, and I think I saw a flycatcher as well. Here's another willy wagtail on the path living up to its name. Can you hear them all? This sparse-shouldered dove just would not cooperate. Here's a picture of when it did finally lift its head above the branch. Here's a grey fantail. And a superb fairy wren. I think this one is a male in its eclipse plumage, which means it's transitioning from its summer blue breeding plumage to brown for winter. And the leaden flycatcher I thought I saw earlier. Closer to the bird hide, I found this flock of red-browed finches eating grass seeds. This looks like an adult finch on the right and a juvenile on the left. It doesn't have its red brow yet. And now we're at the bird hide. Compared to a lot of other bird hides I've been to, this one is really nice. It has a chair where you can sit and relax and watch the birds, and the view from the bird hide is stunning. If you come here at low tide, you're a lot more likely to see birds like spoonbills and egrets here. As it is today, there's obviously no shorebirds because the tide is too high. But oh, I just spotted a cormorant. So cute. You can also often see kingfishers here. Just on the left of the bird hide, there's a few trees that go over the water, and there's often, that's where I've just seen the cormorant, there's often kingfishers sitting in those trees looking for their dinner. I didn't see much else than the cormorant at the bird hide today, although I did come back a little later and found these chestnut teals. Alright, time to move on. From the bird hide, if you're facing the bird hide, then you're going to turn left. I always feel like I'm on such a big adventure at Tinchi Tamba Wetlands. It feels very off the beaten track. Here we have Whittier emerging from the bushes. It's a very friendly, juvenile Australian brush turkey. I picked up a mate. Hello, mate. Australian brush turkeys are independent from the moment they're born. I always remember that when I see them around the place. They're taking care of themselves even as babies. I can hear some silver eyes coming. Silver eyes are my favourite bird. Just like what happened here, you can hear the flocks of them coming because of how noisy they are. I've often been on a path and had them all just fly over me. It's really beautiful. There's often kangaroos here. I've just seen a couple. I can hear a spangled drongo, but it keeps moving around. Spangled drongos have distinctively shaped fishtails. They have their own quite amazing metallic calls, but they also mimic the calls of other birds to trick those birds into leaving their food unattended. I just posted a video on my Instagram the other day of a spangled drongo mimicking a sacred kingfisher. They trick me all the time. Now we're emerging into the section of the trail that is by this kind of marshy area. I've stumbled on a family of magpies foraging for their breakfast. This section of the track can get quite wet. I'm just in my regular runners today because we haven't had a lot of rain recently, but I have been here a few times before and wished that I had my gumboots on because it was so muddy. So keep that in mind. The track is mostly quite open but has these sections with trees, which is where I saw this rufous whistler. Either a female or a juvenile, you can tell by the streaked breast. And here's the male rufous whistler with its rufous colouring. Some more welcome swallows here. And a rainbow bee eater doing what they do best, eating a bee. You can always hear when these birds are nearby because they have a loud insect-like call. When you get to the end of that section, you'll hit another path, turn left, and you'll see a big grassy patch. That's the way to finish the circuit. Can you hear that call? Choo choo choo. That's the striated pardalotes. There's lots of them here today.
Here's one of the striated pardalotes foraging in the gum trees. They nest in tree hollows or even in tunnels in the ground, but you'll most often see these tiny birds at the very tops of trees like this.
After that grassy section, the path continues.
Here's a female Sahul cicada bird. The word Sahul refers to the area this bird is found in around Australia and New Guinea. And a black-faced cuckoo shrike.
Eventually you'll get back to this gravel path, which will take you back to the path that goes to the bird hide.
That gravel path goes through some tall grass, which is usually home to lots of birds, like this juvenile pied butcherbird. Here's some more superb fairy wrens. And can you see the bird in the grass? It's a golden-headed cisticola. I think this is my second favourite bird. Their call is a high-pitched wail, which just sounds so dramatic.
I've just finished the circuit walk, which was about 3 k's. You could also just walk to the bird hide if you're after a shorter walk, or you could do the boardwalk, which we're about to go check out. Now we're back at the boardwalk. Let's turn right and have a look. It's a bit later in the day now, almost 9:30. I spent a while out on the circuit walk, so we might not see as much. It's better to come earlier in the morning, but let's see what we can find.
Here's a white-bellied sea eagle soaring lazily over the Pine River. The markings on this one mean it's immature. Here's a great egret just beside the boardwalk. And as you probably heard throughout the video, there are lots of Torresian crows around. And finally, another grey fantail sitting still for once.
I've just finished the boardwalk. There are more paths you can keep walking down, but I'm going to turn back now. I've had a great time today. I hope you have too. The coffee tastes even better after a long bird walk. See you next time.
Have you been to Tinchi Tamba Wetlands, or are you planning to go? Let me know.